like, what, are we all having a glass of wine or are we?
I have what? I was gonna pour some wine. I have
Is it
water.
too professional to have a glass of
No,
wine?
no.
you should definitely drink some wine. Every single time there's a hard question. Yeah, every hard question you just have to like chug.
Okay.
But there's no hard questions, so it doesn't matter.
I'm ready.
Okay. All right. All right, guys, welcome back to Stumblin Forward. My name is Kristen, and it's actually Kristen Herman, which I think that you guys should know by now. And I have one of your hosts, and this
I'm Monica Ortega, and this is my favorite intro we've done so far.
I'm actually keeping this in. I'm not taking it out.
Okay.
So today we're actually speaking to Diem Angie. Diem, born with a keen eye for beauty, Diem Angie was naturally drawn to faces and art of makeup at a very young age. At age 16, she attended the Technology Center of Illinois, earning a cosmetology license. 10 years later, her talent and drive has taken her career in many directions, including music videos, commercials, print, and TV. Her biggest achievement was working with America's Next Top Model. Even though Diem has done a lot of exciting work on various projects, she was always drawn towards wedding hair and makeup for real brides. This is where her true passion lies. Nothing gives her greater satisfaction than working with brides on their big day and seeing their excitement I'm going to say that again. Nothing gives her greatest satisfaction. Nothing gives her greater satisfaction than working with brides on their big day and seeing their excitement and their transformations. How you doing, Diem? Thank you for being on the show. Also, thank you for your patience.
So much for having me.
What was that?
I said, this is great. You know, even though we don't see anyone, so Zoom and like iMessage or all of this is good. So when my husband was like, "Why are you dressing up?" I'm like, "No, this is me hanging out."
It's a video. This is real. Everyone's gonna see it.
Also, like the only time this year I've pretty much done my hair and makeup is for interviews. So it's like a reason to get ready and put on, I'd say put on real pants, but let's be real, I got sweatpants on. But
yeah, yoga pants. I got yoga pants.
But I have makeup on. So. Anyway, so do you tell us a little bit about yourself, the things that Kristen didn't cover, and like how you got into this?
So, Kristen, we went to Glenbard North, and the cool thing about Glenbard North was instead of taking like a food or art class, they gave us an opportunity to take a technical school. So from that school, I think I mentioned it was Technology Center DuPage, and you can graduate and do culinary, nursing. I chose cosmetology just because I love hair, and it was paid for. So I just needed to pass my grades and all that. But I'm so happy that I took that opportunity to just get the free courses in. And in the beginning, it was really hard because during high school, that was like supposed to be the best years of our lives, right? But I never had that. I was on a bus at 11 o'clock to go to this technical school to deal with a bunch of girls, you know, and it was all catty. I think I cried more at my graduation for cosmetology than my high school graduation because it was so hard.
Oh my gosh.
And then after I graduated, I was just like, okay, bam, I have my cosmetology license, what to do with my life. And, you know, I'm just happy that I always praise Technology Center DuPage. I don't know if they still exist or not, but if anyone is hearing about this or if anyone is interested in joining that program, I highly recommend that, you know, because that was my way of getting started, even though I felt like I was missing out on so much in the beginning. But
just being like in high school, you felt you were missing out on the other opportunities inside, because I didn't actually know that you went that early in the day.
yeah,
So like 11 o'clock.
I graduated high school with my cosmetology degree. So
Wow.
that's why I've been doing it for the past 11, 12 years, because everyone will look at me and go, well, you look like you're 14. Oh, wow. It's because I did all of that when I was in high school.
Or you can say it's just because I do my makeup like this because it makes me look younger. You should hire me. Anyway. So what started your own business? Because I know that, I mean, you did so much leading up to you starting your own thing.
Yeah. So being my own boss has always been like my goal. I've had many, many jobs, one being like at Baskin Robbins, and that was like, it lasted for maybe like a week or two, but I just like having my own schedule. You know, worked for other companies before, and there's always certain things in there where I'm like, I don't know if I like it. You know, I don't think the pay was fair, or they didn't treat us right, or it just didn't feel like how I would want to represent my own company, you know? So then I figured, okay, well, you know what? Now that I have all these clients, they trust me. We need help. Let's build a team. And even though it's been 10 years in the making, I would say I just started hiring out maybe like 5, 6 years ago. Um, so this company that I have is actually still pretty small. We have a team of 30. It sounds like a lot, but it's not, because in Chicago there's so many. Kristen, you know, you're a photographer.
Mhm.
There's weddings left and right, and I hire just I hire my artists very slowly, just because I want them to have, you know, everything that I would want when I come in. So,
And you said that you train them personally as well, like you kind
well,
of like give
I
them.
if they need help, then I'll train them. But I actually hire artists that are better than me. So
I mean, that's the smart way to do it, right?
yeah, no, everyone on my team is really, really talented. So I try to hire artists again that are so talented that if I were not to be there, then they can do that job, and I can just relax and know that, you know, as long as they're professional and all that, then I'm good. Then I'm good.
So what's your company called?
So the company's called Diem Angie, and it's my name.
Okay.
I have been thinking about maybe branching it to a different name, but right now it's still mine.
And do you do like hair and makeup, just makeup? Is it just weddings?
So we do hair and makeup for weddings, for like events and stuff. But the only thing that we don't do, and I don't think I'm ever gonna cross that path, is hair coloring, haircuts, blowouts. That's not us. You know, that could be my team. My team does that, but that's not me as an artist. I'm not. I'm not gonna even say I know how to color hair. So don't book us, or don't book me for coloring.
Yeah. So most people will call and they'll be like, I want to get like everything done. And you're just like, no, I only do, I want to do more of just like the day of.
Well,
or do you feel
our website, there's a lot of information in there. There is a lot of our wedding stuff. Okay, so so my whole website is basically bridal. But that doesn't mean it's only for bridal. It's for like an event. If you have hair and makeup for your kid's birthday party, or for maternity pictures or anything like that, we will do. But we won't go to your house to cut and color your hair. That's not us.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I kind of want to hear about the America's Top Model. How did that come into play?
So that was when I was, I think, a sophomore at UIC, and I got a random call one day because one of the makeup artists didn't show up, and they're like, hey, we can't tell you what this production is about, but if you're interested and if you're free right now, show up. And at that time, you know, I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna skip class.
I mean,
I packed up my makeup bag and I showed up. It was also a referral from one of my friends, so I knew it was a safe place. It wasn't like I would just walk in there and
it's super sketchy. Yeah. Some guy's basement.
Yeah. I mean, we've done that before too, but he was pretty professional. So I walked in and I found out like there's this huge production, and I worked with Lexi, who I think was season 14 of America's Next Top Model. And she was there, and she was my main person.
Awesome. How was that experience? Do you feel like it was, once you found out that it was America's Next Top Model, you're like, oh no, what am I going to do? So
no, it was because I think I was so young back at that moment, where anything, because I worked with a lot of other companies too. Like we worked with Playboy, we worked with Maxim at that time. And Lexi was so chill. They put her as like the mean person on season 14, but luckily I didn't watch that season. Or sorry, like I didn't finish hearing like she basically was categorized as like the mean girl in that show. And yeah.
But you know what, those reality shows, they kind of sometimes, you know,
and
play it up.
and she was fine. And I took it as like another gig, and it worked.
What would you say, like, in all of this experience of doing this for so long and working in different areas of cosmetology, what are some of like the lessons that you learned, or maybe the mistakes you made starting your business?
Oh, there was a lot of mistakes. Trust me, there was a lot. Just because I grew up with my business, I was only 18. So I took gigs that I knew I shouldn't have done, that brides would ask for like red flags here and there. And I'll be like, yeah, I can do it. I can deliver. I can do it. And you show up, you try to deliver it, and you're like, holy, what did I just sign up for? Because I wasn't skilled at that hairstyle yet. If I should have,
Yeah.
or if they show me a hair and makeup inspiration and it's way out of my comfort zone, I can't go in there and say I know how to do it. So that's why I built this team where if a bride were to contact me and if I can't do the style, I can give it to another girl. But that was lesson number one, is learning to say no. Like if a bride has really high expectations and we can't deliver, there's nothing that we can do to satisfy the bride. So I just tell them, hey, that's not what we can do, because that's just, it's more stressful for me. So then even though I did my best, it made me feel like I wasn't a good artist, but then again, it just wasn't me. It wasn't something that I can deliver. So I would like go home and I'll cry about it. And then because it didn't book, but I was like, it didn't make, and then I just think about it, I'm like, it just wasn't a good match. So learning how to say no. Not taking pictures of your work, and then you come home and you're like, oh, damn it, I did such a great job. And you can replicate that again, but it's never going to be how you did it the first time. Or growing up with my business, I would kind of, how do you say it? You don't think that you're your own boss yet. You just think you're just being creative, So it only took me recently, I dated Henry 5 years ago. When him and I actually had dinner together, he was like, you're like in charge of these girls' finances. Like you put food on their table. And I just sat there for a moment. And I'm like, wait, I have a company and they're relying on me.
The realization, that you're a boss.
That never came to my mind, just because I just thought I hired girls that love what we do. We wake up in the morning, we do, but this is a career. This is people's livelihood that I'm helping and I'm supporting. And that's when I realized, holy crap, I have to step up my management game, but luckily, prior to that whole 5 years and all that, I just had a great team. I was trying to be as professional as I can, but just realizing that you are the company's boss was something that it took me a little bit longer to adjust, or, just to understand, because I didn't understand it myself. I thought I was just doing it because it's our passion.
Do you feel like what was that? I know you had the click of I'm a boss. This is my company. I'm responsible. What do you feel like you did to really push yourself into that boss role, into the executive in a sense?
Our finances.
Okay.
Because we have I can openly talk to our team about finances. I pay out each of my girls every Monday. Okay. As long as there's all this and all that. And before understanding all the finances, I'm like, bang, 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 the girls got paid. I have money in my bank. Moving forward, next wedding. Because we don't think about it. And that was at that time, I was only 26. Things like that doesn't click in your head. But yeah, that was one of the things, getting your Excel sheet together. Luckily, I already like LLC'd myself, so all that professional side was already taken care of when I started the business. But just learning how to budget a little bit more. And now that when is this thing getting aired?
It's gonna
sometime in the new year.
New year.
Cool. Well, just a little snippet of what's going on is I'm launching a school. We'll talk about that later on. But like stuff like that, like we're dealing with bigger stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I everything is a lot more, how do you say, more, I'm really bad at it, but numbers. I just have to be better at numbers.
No, honestly.
I need to hire someone. So if you know anyone that's good at finances, my husband's actually a finance guy, but we don't work.
You don't want to work together in that sense. You're like, we got to keep that separate. You can do that over on the other side. But no, it's really true. It's like numbers intimidate me personally. So like when I have to even think about like, okay, one, how much I'm asking for in the sense, or, prices, or if anything with numbers, I just like clam up. So
Yeah.
totally understand that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
But
6
you really
years
do.
into my business and I still don't know how to price myself. Kristen can vouch for that. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know. You want this amount? Like,
Just here you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we both have to, with the whole saying no thing, that's another thing
Yeah.
we've been talking about. It's like, sometimes, you just have to be able to say no. And it's really hard because you want to please. And that's like, especially
And
when
like,
you're an
it
entrepreneur.
sucks because you take the gig and you try, but that doesn't mean you're a bad artist. It doesn't mean we're bad speakers. It just meant it just didn't click. And it took me a lot longer to understand that not everyone is, a great match with you. Even though I think I'm very bubbly as a person, but man, those like appointments that don't work, it's exhausting. It's exhausting.
So what would you tell someone who wants to be either in cosmetology and go to your school, or maybe someone who wants to start their own business and be in cosmetology or with weddings or anything? What would you tell them, like if they wanted to start something?
Well, I would probably do a phone interview with them. I love hearing people's stories. I don't think hair and makeup is hard to get into. They can take all these classes, and if they have a passion for it, if they could just make someone look pretty, they can get into hair and makeup. You don't really need a whole degree. And actually, I don't even want to bring up the state regulations because that's a whole thing. But if you are listening to this and you are interested in getting into like the hair and makeup industry, follow people on Instagram, follow people on YouTube. Like there's so much that you can learn right there. And if you want to learn, like we're offering it. But honestly, you wake up and you just don't go, oh, I want to be a hair and makeup artist, right? It's all that interest sparking from the beginning already. You have it or you don't. Like my cousin, she has no passion for hair and makeup, and you can't make her go and do.
I can make myself look presentable, but it's not like I wake up and do my hair just for fun.
Side note, I was
so many things that you can do with the beauty industry. Like I also do permanent makeup as well. So on weekends I do hair makeup. On the weekdays I'm doing eyebrows. I'm actually flying out to Miami in 2 weeks, or the second week of January, to learn how to do lip blushing, which is like lip tattooing.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so that's what I was just gonna say. I'm like, when you said permanent makeup, I was like, you're a tattoo artist? I was like, and then I was like, oh, wait a minute. That also includes eyebrows, and I know the eyelashes.
So there is tons of things that you can do in the beauty industry. It just doesn't have to be hair and makeup. It could be, again, permanent makeup and all of that as well.
That's awesome. Very cool.
So where do you see this going, like with your business? I know you kind of teased a little bit about the school, but like 5 years from now, kind of what's the plan?
Oh, the plan.
If you can say
always a plan.
Wait, you got a drink. It's a hard question. Just kidding.
I'm kidding. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Get it.
You know what? My 5-year goal is to teach. I feel like I am building such a good team already for Diem Angie that my next thing to do is just to inspire others. I've done a few trainings, or I went to a few classes where I was unhappy about, because they weren't great classes. I don't want to bash anyone, but I was just like, what the heck? And then students that will come and apply for our makeup position, I'm not saying that they're not good, but they could be better, right? So I just want them to have that like motivation to just be able to finish a class and say, hey, I'm confident in doing what I need to do, versus having to then take another class, take another class, and just waste time and money. So if I'm going to educate this, I want the state of Illinois to just be trained well. And that's what I'm focusing on.
That's great. I am going to bring up the fact that you have a little baby. What's her name again?
Her name is Haley.
Haley. And I want to say, just for, our moms that are listening as well, how do you feel like balancing mom life and entrepreneur life as well? Like, do you feel like that's a challenge in the last year, or?
Are you, Monica, are you a mom?
No, just a dog mom.
Just a dog mom. Okay. Haley, this is hard because I've always wanted to be a mom. Okay. I bought my first dog at 18. So it always clicked in my head, like Henry, it doesn't understand how to be a dad. I would always have to explain to Henry, like, Henry, you need to do this, you need to do that. It doesn't click to him as well. Like for me, I understand. So I click very easily with my daughter, and I don't know if that will change later on, but she's so good that she hasn't gotten me like super stressed out yet. She has kept me at the same level. When I wake up and when I come home, she's like really, really good. So
every mom that's listening is like,
I know that's what
you know what? It's like, what about my kid?
If you're listening and you're like this new mom and your daughter is crazy or anything, I'm not I'm sorry, but I just don't want to lie. Like Haley is just so easy. When she first, like 2 months in, she slept for 12 hours or 8 hours already, so she's been really good. But
that is very unusual.
Yeah, I know.
What's going on with Haley?
Well, what I'm trying to say is the easy babies get harder later on. So we'll see.
She's going to hit 2 and then it's just like,
yeah.
terrible 2s, right?
I am just happy that Haley is so patient with me that it gives me time to just still be myself. I still manage a team and all of that. And luckily, Henry, with COVID, he works at home, but that doesn't mean he helps me out. From like 9 to 6, that's it. That's like my time with Haley. And mentally, my emotions aren't there because I want to work. I want to do all of this, but we can't hire a babysitter right now because of COVID. And I actually paused all of my services for a good 3 months. And then I paused again, beginning of this whole COVID thing. So it's just been a stay-at-home mom from 9 to 6. And then after 6 o'clock, that's where I check out. That's why we're doing this now at 6 o'clock. But my husband's been really good. So from 6 to 9, that's his shift. So I'm like a night owl. I do everything after she goes to sleep. So that's how I balance it. I feel like without that communication with Henry, I'm just constantly like, Henry and I didn't talk about this before, but I had an emotional breakdown with him. And I said, hey, listen, I can't hang out with her all day. I want to, but after 6, I don't want to hang out with her either. Like you need to have her time.
And I think that's completely normal for like most parents. I mean, obviously couples, and they should have that communication where like, so I have my thing, I need to do my thing. And
so
this is,
Haley being so good, even though she is so good, she doesn't talk, right? She doesn't, you're just her slave. She's your boss. Other than that, it's great. She's amazing.
That's great.
I love that.
Very cool.
All right. So where can everybody find out more information, follow you on social, all that good stuff?
We're all over. You can find us on Yelp, on Wedding Wire. If you type Diem Angie Beauty Team, that is our main bridal page. And then there is a Diem Angie Permanent Makeup. But that might change on Instagram just because I don't want to link more things with Diem Angie. Or maybe I do want to link it. I don't know. I'm in that confusion mode of like how to rebrand myself or still keep the name of Diem Angie. There's just, I don't know.
And it could be a Diem Angie, Diem Angie going into like just the wedding stuff and like all the going into makeup elsewhere, but then maybe you want to change your school to be something else.
Yeah. So the school is going to be completely different and I'll just be under, but I definitely don't want the school under my name,
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe like Mara Chikosi, but like Diem Angie.
No, I think it's just like, why can't you just have it under your name? And I feel like that's just not me. I don't want that much of a title. And
like
if
big sign,
fails, which I don't want it to fail, but that's like my name failing. It's just too much to grab.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, Well, it's cool that you're still like figuring that out and like moving forward into
Every
where
day.
you can go with your career, you know?
I'm like clicking on domains, like, oh, do you think this is a good name? One day I was like, oh, browse all day, which I bought the domain. But then I'm like, I'm not just doing browse, I'm doing lips.
You should put it like as a question on something and like be like any ideas or
Oh my gosh.
like or give them 3
the hardest thing. Oh my gosh.
names.
Yeah.
Thinking of your names. Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, well, we'll definitely link to what you already have, which we'll email you and get all that stuff to make sure we got it right as well. But yeah, if you guys are listening, be sure to give us 5 stars. You can listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that good stuff. Leave us a review. We're going to link to Diem Angie below this video, which will also be up on YouTube. So I'm one of your hosts, Monica Ortega.
And I'm Kristen Herman.
And thank you, Diem Angie, so much for being on the show.
Yes, of course.
And we'll catch you guys next time.
All right. Bye.
Bye.